We are back. Welcome back, people. You know what? I say this every week, but you know what? We got some things to discuss. We got some things to talk about. So make sure you tune in. Hopefully, you got your popcorn or whatever snack of your choice or beverage, whatever. Make sure that you have it ready because we're about to get into it. Sammy, go ahead and bring us in.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. And Bill Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome back.
I am definitely fucking sick.
Uh-oh.
Sick of Gus Bradley.
Oh, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get. You're starting off.
No ass defense.
You're starting off with fire, and I love it. I love it. Yes, he couldn't stop any touchdowns. He couldn't stop any TDs. But you know what? Speaking of
Couldn't have
TDs,
stopped a butterfly to flying into a damn bag.
yeah. Well, I mean, hey, this is what it is. But you know, we're starting off. Welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show, where we're coming to you with everything Colts. And based on how Pat just got us started, we're starting off with some fire, baby. So yeah, we gonna get into it. Big P, let the people know who you are.
Big P, baby. You can find me at Big P Colts on the X. And Patrick Doerflein on Facebook.
Love it.
That, I'm not on anything else. And I'm hardly even on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, true.
I think I outgrew Facebook, and now I spend the majority of my time on X.
There you go. Okay, well, it's a transition.
I don't know if I'm maturing or what, but
I mean, either way, I think you just like getting the news a little bit quicker because it seems like on Twitter you get it sooner. Like normally on Facebook there's a little bit of a delay, but on Twitter it's just like boom, it's immediate. So I mean, you never know. But you know what? And I'm Chris Jackson at CJ Colts fan on Twitter. So yeah, and then you can find me on Facebook at Chris Bolt Speedman Jackson. So before we go ahead and get into it, because I know Pat needs to he needs to just like sound off. But before we do, we gotta talk because you know our offense, we put up a lot of touchdowns. We put up a lot of touchdowns this week. And you know what? I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the tutties or the TDs or being in for six, whatever it was. The touchdowns mattered on the field, but they matter even more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We don't care how they score them. We just want to bet on touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. And I think, Big P, what did you call for the for your bet last week?
I think it was Josh Downs anytime touchdown.
Think so.
I believe.
I think you might have said. I think it might have been. I think we might have said Josh Downs, and I believe Josh Downs got in for one, didn't he?
I believe he did.
Oh, well, that means once again, if you went with one of our bets, boom,
You make your money.
Exactly.
Going to Sizzler.
Exactly. We going to and my lineman. Oh yeah. If I had money, I'd take him to Sizzler from the great Marshawn Lynch. Love him, appreciate him. But then if you're ready to place your first bet, you make sure that you try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. You can go to DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. I think we play in Tennessee this week. So what are we calling for the bet this week?
Anytime Anthony Richardson touchdown.
Anytime AR?
Yeah, he's gonna be back. He's gonna be back. He's pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
If we're pissed off, it looks like JT's might be coming back. We'll know more later on the week. Thursday we'll have more definitive answer on JT, but it looks as like he's getting ready to come back. Pretty sure AR is going to be. So if that changes, we'll change our bet come Thursday.
Okay. Well, yes, then we will wait on that for Thursday. AR, anytime touchdown pending, anytime touchdown passing through the air or running it in, whatever it may be. Heck, we saw it the other day. It might even be a receiving touchdown, depending on how tricky, Steichen and JBC want to get.
It
But
could be.
either way, if you're ready to do a touchdown dance of your own, new DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. You can score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the Sportsbook app and use code 6sports. That's SICKSPORTS. All uppercase, no spaces, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Sorry about that. I forgot about our warning at the end of that ad. But what I was going to say is I want to see your touchdown dance. If you was an NFL player that had the possibility of scoring, show me what your touchdown dance would be?
It depends. It depends.
Now, and this brings up this is going to be my positive side of tonight, because after this I'm going friggin' off.
Ooh.
Okay, and this is not normal for me, but when you fuck with my defense, you fucking piss me off. And this damn Bradley is fucking with my defense. Excuse my language, everybody, but I am that far gone. But anyways, this is the positive side of me tonight, so embrace it, suck it in, because you're not getting no more. So with Drew Ogletree the other week scoring his first touchdown at the NFL, he did his little dance. So this is your first touchdown. Dance? Yeah, this is your first touchdown. Let me see your dance.
Oh yeah, I think I'm going chicken noodle soup. We gotta go with the let it rain and clear it out. The let it rain and clear it out, just like that. I think, but you know what? I think it's also going to be like certain things. Like if we were to play like a Halloween game, I think I might hit like part of the Thriller dance from Michael Jackson.
You got to show us, man.
You got the see, look like that. It's just like it's hitting one of those, just like but it's just like that. That's what I would go with in that case. But now you got to show yours before you go nuclear.
Oh, mine's a basic white boy dance. I'll just tell you that right now. It's going to be the lawnmower. That's all I got, baby. That's all the moves I got. I can't even do the sprinkler anymore because his shoulder's jacked up. So the lawnmower is all you're getting from me.
I love it. I appreciate you for that. But you know what? We're here. We have to have a family discussion. We have to have a family discussion here, because 37-34 was the loss to the Jaguars.
To an 0-4 Jags that couldn't score more than 15 friggin' points this entire season. And you're going to let them run all over us. Two punts in the entire friggin' game.
Yeah. They said Trevor Lawrence was clean. We got one pressure all game. I think we got two pressures, and one was Latu. But first off, you know what? I'm not. So the thing is, I don't want to start off on that note, because we're going to be talking about the defense. I want to start off with the fact that we had an offense that scored 34 points. So to me, we can absolutely talk about the fact that this offense is, I'm going to say, able to move in a way that we know they'll be able to deliver. Like, we know the capability of this offense.
All right. Now, okay, you brought up the offense, so I'm going to ask you where I went wrong. This off season, I am doing nothing but talking about how great my defense is going to be, how nobody's going to be able to run on my defense, the front four, front seven, how we're going to stay competitive in any game with any team in the NFL because of our defense.
Yep.
Our defense is going to keep it. But it's the opposite right now.
Yeah.
Where did I fail?
Well, let's talk about the trend that we've dealt with for the last few games, because it's not just this game. It was last week's game, and it was the game versus the Bears. We've seen Gus Bradley, and mind you, well, I'll call out this pattern like 10 times out of 10. It's come out with something flashy that he's never done before in that first quarter. Get teams kind of rattled a little bit. The second quarter, he may do that for like half the quarter, maybe even for the full quarter. Second half, he comes out and he plays a soft shell defense. He's playing off. And I don't want to sound like the armchair QB, but the Jags have one of the worst O-lines in the league. Trevor Lawrence is pressured every single game. The Bills game, he sat there and he literally was collapsing in the pocket because guys were getting in instantly. And yet, Gus Bradley chooses repeatedly to rush 4, sometimes even 3, but he's not rushing 5. He's not rushing 6. And the attitude after the game from Gus Bradley was, you have to earn the right to, I think he's like, you have to earn the right to blitz, or you have to earn the right to basically just rush the passer, consistently. Now,
are you freaking serious? He actually said this?
So, yeah, I don't know what the exact quote was, but that's what he said to an extent. And that was the reason why I am, because I
how about this? How about you get this defense playing the way it's supposed to before you earn the right to cash your friggin' check, you worthless ass bum.
Well, but the thing is, this is something that you and I both we talked about this around training camp. We talked about the fact that Gus Bradley played this defense that teams know. It's obvious. And there's no reason why Trevor Lawrence, looking as bad as he has the first 4 games of the season, came into this game throwing over 350 yards.
Over 370 yards.
Without his top target, who's Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram didn't play.
No, he's still on.
Yeah, he's hurt. He's hurt. And I mean, we can go and talk about the fact that Gus Bradley is just like, this is who we're familiar with, this is what we're doing. But the thing is, he's only going according to his system, and he's not playing situational ball. Because situational ball would tell you that you would go after Trevor Lawrence. Like if I'm Gus Bradley in this case, and I'm not Gus Bradley, but what I can say is that if I'm Gus Bradley, I'm not sending anything less than 5 on every single down. I don't care whether we know it's a run play. I don't care whether we know it's a passing play.
All right, now we got a lot of people in chat tonight, so you guys jump in here and answer this question if you can. And Chris, I want you to answer this too.
Mm-hmm.
Did this defense not look identical to Green Bay's game?
Pretty much. But the thing about Green Bay knew to focus on the run. They knew to focus on the run. In this game, we were daring them to pass. We put
and their RB2 got over 100 yards on us.
Yes. So you give up over 450 yards of offense to a Jacksonville Jaguars team. And mind you, we talked about the Jaguars playing us like their lives depended on it. They weren't out there playing like their lives depended on it. They were just taking what they were being given. So, I mean, if we're talking about this team and how they were performing, because, for example, Brian Thomas Jr., he's a good wide receiver, but the problem was that you're putting your guys in soft zones, backing them off, and then we have Dallas Flowers. Mind you, this is another thing that pissed me off, because Sam Womack was taken out so that Dallas Flowers could go in there. And Dallas Flowers got cooked like hibachi more than once.
Is that his Superman play?
Yeah, Superman, like
Yeah.
Soldier Boy. Like it was just like he was out there just
Hey, I know
watching
that
you.
dance.
Exactly. See, you know that would be your other touchdown dance.
Maybe I'm not so basic after all.
Exactly. See, you got a little flavor to you. Like, hey, it's just like you're fine.
Yeah, don't call me a cracker. Call me a
Hey.
crouton because I got some flavor, baby.
We got to come up with something else bread related for that because we croutons.
Right now, I feel sourdough.
but in all fairness, we have to be very, very honest about the fact that from a situational standpoint, this was a game that even with the injuries we had was a winnable game.
Very winnable. Very winnable.
And if
we were using RB2, RB3, we was using quarterback 2, we was using nickel 2, defensive tackle 2 and 3, and we were still in this game.
Yeah.
Now, look, before anybody starts throwing rocks at me, I am not letting go of the players on this loss either. But the coaching staff gets the majority of blame than the players. But when you're like Dallas Flowers and you're getting cooked like he did, when you're EJ Speed missing, I think Clyde mentioned it earlier in one of our text groups, EJ Speed missed 6 tackles.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
You can't do that as players, damn it. That's fundamental football. I don't care what scheme your coach puts you in. If you have the chance to make the tackle, you make the friggin' tackle. That is 100% on players, not the coach. Yeah. But this soft shell, this bend, it's not their. Gus Bradley's philosophy isn't even bend, don't break. It's bend and break.
Yes.
That's his fucking philosophy. This dude's got to go. Oh, yeah. I backed him up for the last 2 years. Ask Clyde. We fought all last season about scheme versus talent and everything else in between this. I'm done covering for this dude. This dude gets no respect from me ever again. I don't care if we go to the Super Bowl and win it. He's done in my book.
Yeah. Well, and let me also just go ahead and just give you some defensive ranks this season. This is per the NFL.
Oh, shit.
Defensive ranks, yards per game that we're allowing, 419.2 yards allowed average per game, 32nd in the league. So we're dead last. Passing yards per game allowed, 262.2, 29th in the league. So we're 4th worst. Rushing yards allowed per game, 157 rushing yards allowed per game average. That's 31st in the league. We're 2nd to last. Points allowed per game, 122 per game. That's 32nd in the league. We're dead last. First downs allowed, 114, dead last in the league, 32nd. Time of possession, 60.97%, and that's dead last in the league. So as of right now, this bend but don't break defense is broken.
No, it's not bend don't break. It's bend and break.
No, it's broken. Because the thing is, and I'm for something like tackles, for example, right? Because the thing is, the big deal has been made about Nick Cross being the tackle leader. He's the tackle leader because the first 2 levels aren't able to get to whoever the person is. So
there's a glitch in the matrix.
Yes. Yeah, it is. So, but the issue that we're running into is we literally have issues with this team being able to be in position because, mind you, Gus runs that soft shell defense where guys pretty much just have to play in their positions. You're not allowed to play any type of gap integrity. You're not allowed to play any type of way where you can potentially go and make a play. The problem is that you have to just basically stay there and hope that the ball comes to you, unless, of course, you're sent in on a blitz or there's some type of other way that you're playing. And so the problem is that you have to stand there and wait. I compare this to my son. He played years and years ago, and they frequently only ever played a cover 2. But the thing is, this is a little league where we're running the ball more often than not. So my son literally has to stay in his cover 2 zone while playing corner, and he has to wait for people to come to him. He once made sure that as soon as he saw the ball go, that he went after the runner, and he went and tackled him in the backfield. His coach got on him because he said, no, you have to stand there. You wait for the guy to get to you. That's exactly what this team is.
You just compared my defense to a Pee-wee League defense. That is freaking shameful because you're not wrong. That's the shameful part of it. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sorry, if you want your pass rush to help your DBs, you have to press that receiver. If you want your DBs to help your pass rush, they have to press that receiver. They cannot give them a 10, 15-yard start to get full speed by the time they even get to you.
Yeah.
By the time our DBs are backing up, figuring out which way they're going, that receiver is already full speed ahead. And he can cut left, cut right, and our DBs are cooked.
Yep.
Or they can run. They can just keep running. That's how Dallas Flowers got cooked.
Yep.
Now, Jalen Jones, he's pretty fast and he's pretty good. You know, he's figured something out. He doesn't get cooked like that. Yeah. But a lesser player gets cooked. We've seen it.
No, we've seen it
for the last 3 years under Gus Bradley. We've all been screaming, why aren't you pressing the receivers? Why are you so far off these receivers? Why ain't you more aggressive? And this is the output that you get from a vanilla-ass defense.
Yeah.
That could easily, to me, the talent that's on this defense can be a top 5 defense in this league.
Well, I mean,
if he was more aggressive,
we've seen the capabilities when A, you switch things up, and B, when you're not running the same thing over and over again. Like if I'm an offensive coordinator and I know that I'm playing against Gus Bradley, I am salivating because I know that you are going to be giving up. You're either going to be giving up the butt on the run game or giving up the butt in the passing game or both. And in this case, it was both.
If I'm an offensive coordinator going against Gus Bradley, I'm getting drunk and creating the game plan.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be successful.
Exactly. And
I'll make the game plan up on the sidelines and still be successful.
And you know what? The thing that irritates me most is the fact that we're now 0-2 in the division. So the thing is now you almost have to exclusively win out to make sure that you have a fighting chance to do anything come playoff time or, whatever. And the thing is right now, I mean, Houston right now has a 2-game lead, period. So now we're looking at the fact that Houston is now at a distinct advantage because of the fact that they're not only 2-0 in the division, but they're also 2 games up. So essentially on us, since we're the closest, they have essentially almost a 4-game advantage because of the 2 division wins and also being two games ahead of us, period.
Already. And we're in week 6.
Exactly. And
now
we've
got a 4-game advantage on us. That is pathetic.
And now we have to go against the Titans. And I'm going to call this right now. If Gus Bradley isn't fired this week and we go into this Titans game and Will Levis looks like, or if he plays, if Will Levis looks like a competent quarterback, because this man has been a meme every week he played. So if he looks like confident, or matter of fact, if he can't go and Mason Rudolph comes in there and he's able to dice up this defense, you almost have to think that there's going to be a revolt if Gus Bradley isn't given his walking papers directly after that game.
I'm going to stand at Big Jim's front door with a sign, "Fire Gus."
Yeah.
I ain't leaving his house until he does.
Yeah. Because
now we got a lot of comments. You guys, we have not forgot you at all. Diamond Dave, Sean, Kevin, Ricky, Adam, Patrick, Teresa. How you guys doing? Don. Oh, and we should have time to get to the questions. So Teresa's asked a couple, Adam J's asked a couple, Sean's asked some. We'll get to them, you guys. Stacy, how are you? But you guys know we love you and we do this for you guys.
Absolutely.
So you guys 100%. Coming back week in, week out, you validate what we do. So absolutely, we love you guys. But I am on a tangent rare tonight over this damn defense. So you might want to just let me get it out of my damn system.
Oh, go for it. Hey, listen. The podium is yours, my good friend.
It's just it's sickening, dude. Knowing we've got the talent of a top 5 defense.
Yep.
And we're ranked 32nd in almost every category.
Yeah.
It's sickening. You know, we've seen this trend for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Does this dude got dirt on Big Jim or something? Is this how he's keeping his job? Because any other team, that trend wasn't going to keep continuing.
Yeah.
This is the NFL.
Yeah. But you know what?
And it stands for not for long. When you don't win, you do not have a job very long if you do not win.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, going against the Jags, and I mentioned it last Thursday. You know, Jags got talent on their team. I'm not taking nothing away from their talent. So you guys don't think that I'm just bashing us, because Jacksonville actually is a decent team. They're not playing well right now this year. Can't tell you why, because I don't watch them enough. But they've got a lot of talent on that team. And I even said, don't take them lightly. But we didn't take them at all. That's the problem. When's our defensive leaders like Zaire or Buck or Kenny going to go up to Gus and just rip his ass on the sidelines for this bullshit safe zone, soft shell, covered 2.5 or whatever the hell he calls, and start calling this guy out, because these guys are better than what they perform under him.
Yeah.
They are 1,000 times better than what they perform under him, because they're doing what they're told.
Yeah. Well, can I interject here though?
Please.
Because, and the thing is, I'm not going to rip into Ballard like that, because it's
not Ballard.
It's like I'm not gonna no well, I'm not going to. But the thing is, we know that Chris Ballard has generally drafted guys who are, I'm gonna say who you would just consider the guys who are of good character, of those things that make them so that they'll go out there, do their job, and that's just going to be that. The problem that you have when it comes to it, and I'm not saying that it's like it's a negative for the players, but you don't have people on this team who are going to call out the defensive coordinator, who are going to lay into him and say, listen, let us do what the hell we're going to do. Because mind you, this is the same coordinator that came in his first year and essentially was benching Kenny for Brandon Faison from the Raiders, who was a CB6. So we already knew that he was on whatever lunacy he was on when he was benching somebody who had a proven track record of being good for somebody who literally couldn't get past being a CB6 on a terrible Raiders secondary. So we knew that. And then we know that even this past year, exactly what he was doing, because we knew that he was playing off, and he's done nothing different even with the pieces that he has. He doesn't like putting forth pass rushes. This guy, it's just like, it's very rare that you'll see him rushing 5 to 6. Like, that teams are rushing against you. You know that teams are running the ball at a very, very high rate, and yes, you're still only rushing 4 and leaving gaping holes for people to continue to do what they're doing. Not only is he refusing to adapt, he's refusing to do anything in regards to making sure that he's making changes according to how the game is going. You can't do the things that you did in 2013 before. And we've said that numerous times this season.
Numerous.
We've said that he can't continue to try to get by on the Legion of Boom days, to which, and I don't know if you know, but he was only the Legion of Boom coach for 1 year. So the thing is, he's using a dilapidated system that he barely used when he was in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, let's also just be very, very clear that it's not just a detriment to the defense, but it's a detriment to the offense as well. Because once again, this is an offense that was able to score 34 points while letting up 37. And it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. And like, you know, people are saying, well, Shane needs to hold him accountable. Shane needs to do this. Shane is worried about making sure that on a week-to-week basis, he's putting forth the best game plan he possibly can. And I want to say that I'm holding Shane accountable for this because he's a head coach. So he does have the power to say, you know what? We need to be out of here. We need you gone because this isn't working. This isn't sustainable. This isn't good. But also at the same time, if there's ever a time that I would want Chris Ballard to just go and say, this isn't working out, now's the time.
Now's the time. Absolutely. And, you know, look, don't take me wrong. I'm not the drama guy. I don't like drama in my life. I don't like to see it on my football team. But at this point, if you're a defensive player and you carry that C on your chest, you're the leader. Yeah. You need to jump somebody's ass. Coach Steichen has said this is a players' league. Yeah. If you don't want to do it on the sideline, then you got that C on your chest, you better walk into Shane's office or Ballard's office and demand something. And demand that he stop doing this shit because it ain't working. It hasn't worked in 3 years. It's not going to work in another 3 years. The dude is past his prime.
Oh, well,
I'm not saying he doesn't know the game. I'm not saying he's stupid. I'm not saying that I'm smarter than him. I'm saying he is past his prime in this league.
Yeah.
Just like a player can age out of this league.
Mm-hmm.
A coach can age out of this league as well because this league changes consistently year in, year out.
Yep.
This guy has not changed. You just said it. Adam J mentioned it in the comments. He's out his time in this league. His schemes do not work. His methods do not work. It is time for him to go.
Absolutely.
And I want my defensive captains, my defensive leaders to stand up for this team. I don't care if Shane Steichen likes the dude, and you know, because and this is one of the interviews, one of the few interviews I got to watch after the game, where he was saying, you know, because of his past and his past record, we trust Gus can get this turned around. We trust Gus. Blah, blah, this. No, there ain't no more trust. It is a trend that is killing this franchise. We finally got a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got an offensive play caller that knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
We finally got talent inside and out, offense and defense. And this is what you produce? No, it's not acceptable. Not one daggum bit.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? And I like right now, this is when I really do want Chris Ballard to just go ahead and just pull rank and do something about this. Because if we're being honest, we've heard like the end of the year presser has always kind of had that chime where we're talking about the injuries, right? Because injuries happen. It's the NFL. But the thing is, we have injuries every year. But then also, there's a significant amount of effort and acquisition that's put into signing depth. Like, we hear depth a lot more so than anything else than we hear when it comes to like the starters. So we hear that a lot too. Now, the thing is, for everything,
but we're not bitching about depth.
No, we're not. No, we're not. What I'm talking about is the fact that we consistently are being told that there's certain things. Like, I don't want to hear about injury at all because we're in that game. We win that game handily if the defense is not as predictable and isn't as bland as what it was this past weekend. If you are sending
Soft.
pass rushers, if you're sending pass rushers out, you're sending 5 and 6 on almost every down. That's not a 37-34 game. That's a 34-20 game. That's a game
At most.
and that's a game that we end up winning because of the fact that the defense is going out there and doing what they're doing. There's no way that you're sitting there and you're watching this happen repeatedly over and over again. And mind you, Dallas Flowers, somebody who was just like, okay, well, he still needs time to recover from the Achilles. He didn't look good. And they finally got rid of him. But the thing is, it was that benefit of the doubt that we had coming into it, in addition to dealing with this, like everything that we're talking about in terms of these holdovers. Because now we have a cornerback group that's even thinner than it was before. Like, we're being told that this is the way that things are happening, or we have to adjust because we have injuries, this, that, and the other. No, if this depth is good, then if you have the right system there, there's no reason in hell why we shouldn't be able to go into these games and still be able to compete at a very high level.
With your 1s, 2s, or 3s, you're 100% accurate.
So we have to be completely real. As I stated before, there's nothing right now that makes me believe that Gus Bradley has maybe one more loss and all these things that you have in terms of that list that I gave you earlier, with us being ranked bottom 5 in damn near all defensive categories, that makes me believe that there's one more loss and he's not going to be fired. Like, I don't want to hear we have to wait till the end of the season, because it's very clear that in the last 2.5 years, he's not going to change anything.
No.
And if he refuses to change, what makes you believe that there's going to be a different outcome than what we've seen thus far this year? That means that, and mind you, bad defense isn't just bad defense. Bad defense affects the offense as well. And mind you, we're dealing with the fact that we have AR, who we want to develop this year, who we want to be able to get his reps and do what he's going to do. But how is he going to be able to naturally get these reps if the defense is giving up points and giving up touchdowns, and AR, instead of him being able to develop, go through his progressions and work through these games and evolve as a passer and evolve as a player, if he's frequently still having to play hero ball?
He can carry the entire team on his back.
He has to under this defense. And you know what? And like I said, what we can do is we can actually just go into some of these questions, because I want us to address some of these questions. And also, I think Teresa mentioned Robert Saleh, which is something that we can kind of cover that for a second too. But let's go to some of these questions, because, like I said, I want to make sure that we go to them. So, Pat, what was one of the ones that you saw earlier?
Oh, I gotta scroll back. Chat is going off tonight.
Oh yeah, for good reason.
Here's one. Teresa says, I seen a clip of Chris earlier talking about he'd be calling someone. Didn't recall the name, maybe Shala, to take over for Gus. Is that possible, or would we have to wait till after the season? Now, I haven't seen that, Teresa, so I don't know exactly if he was talking about that. We don't have to wait to fire Gus. But I thought I seen somewhere where somebody commented on somebody's post that they can't go out and hire Shala just yet. I guess there's some kind of time frame where you can pick up a head coach. I don't know.
Well, so the
I
thing,
don't know what the rule is that, and it was Eric Griffin, our new writer. He's
yeah,
the one that said it. I wish he was on there. Eric, if you're watching, let us know what that rule is on
yeah.
that,
So
because
I
I
think,
believe it was his comment that I read that,
yeah.
but
So he
I
wouldn't
don't know
be.
for sure.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able. I don't think he'd be able to be installed as a DC. Even when it comes to Gus Bradley can go at any time. He could be fired right now for all we know. So I mean, that's just what it is. But when it comes to Robert Saleh, part of it is going to be whether or not he wants to just immediately jump on with a different team. Because ultimately, the way that you can kind of get around that is that I believe he can sign on with another team at in an advisory role, which he wouldn't necessarily be like a defensive coordinator, but they're basically just asking for his input. So, I mean, as far as he goes, I mean, he's somebody who was just very, very, very instrumental in building a lot of those 49ers defenses that we've seen. I mean, he coached that the first page not Chiefs 49ers game in 2020. So that was his defense that he had. Also, and like I said, not to get everybody's hopes up, but Robert Saleh was also the person who coached DeForest Buckner up. So that was somebody who's familiar, who's able to go ahead and just go into that familiarity. Not only that, but it's just like he's actually very, very good with making sure that he's coaching those front sevens. So, I mean, that would be a good idea. However, I do believe that for him to be hired on as an actual coach, he would have to wait until the end of this season during that coaching tampering period that normally starts around playoffs, and only for teams who aren't in the playoff race or who aren't in the playoffs period. So
There you go.
all right, and then we have, I think there was another one. Um, they said again, or I think Adam J said again, um, LB back is third to undrafted free agents, all great guys and good athletes. In this scheme, though, I believe this is the best it's going to get. And it
But somebody
sucks.
say earlier, our defense has hit its ceiling under Gus, and it's a low ceiling. My God,
It's a low ceiling. It's a
very
very,
low.
very low ceiling. So yeah,
So low,
it's
my moon pie would have to crawl underneath the damn thing.
exactly. Even she would just be like, "Man, this is small." Like it, like it's really, really bad considering the fact that. And if you see a Chiefs blanket, please don't mind my son who has no choice at this point. Um, but we're
It
gonna
looked
get,
like a ghost.
yeah, it kind of did look like a ghost a little bit. So yeah, but like we get these athletes, and we get these guys, and the problem is that you install them and you're hoping that they're going to do good. But the problem is that now you're looking at teams where players aren't really learning to develop properly. I mean, maybe when it comes to cornerback, because you have guys like Jalen Jones, who I'm going to say ideally is going to be a guy who's going to be a faster guy, I'm going to end up playing back anyway, who might play some press coverage, but for the most part is going to play a lot of zone probably. Now, wherein the issue lies is the fact that that front seven is going to be bad. And we're looking at, how is Latu going to develop? Because we know Latu high motor, fantastic. But how is he going to be able to really go out there and do what he does if he's not consistently rushing the passer and going up against these tackles and guards who are really just looking to try to minimize him? Like, how is he really going to develop those skills and develop that bag if he's not allowed to really open the bag?
Right.
And it's frustrating because of the fact that we don't necessarily, and like I said, I'm never saying that we need to go get 6 free agents from free agency every single year, but the problem is that we're hoping for development with guys who are a little bit later in the draft or who may be undrafted free agents, and we're hoping they develop, and they can't develop in this system. So that means that not only are you putting guys in who are behind the curve, but you're hoping for something that you're not going to see because they're not where they need to be. So not only is this system a bad system, it's a system that isn't helping with the growth of these players.
Agree.
So,
Absolutely agree.
So
we all still love Darius Leonard.
Absolutely.
And this Gus Bradley's scheme ran him out. He didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, you took a pure athletic individual and you boxed him in for nothing.
Yeah.
For what? To show you're the boss? Great. You're the boss.
Yeah.
Take the L because it ain't on me.
Exactly. And I mean, it's crazy because he took Darius Leonard and he boxed him in.
Absolutely.
And he made him play in these soft zones, and he made him play out of position. Part of the reason why Darius Leonard was as good as he was because of the fact that you allow him to roam freely, and he's able to see the field and he can move around accordingly. And now, and mind you, the appeal with Zaire and Speed is that, yes, they're talented and yes, they can play, but they were able to play in the system a little bit more. The problem is they're able to play in the system a little bit more, but the contributions in the system aren't necessarily matching what you're doing when it comes down to how you're playing them. So now we have a linebacking core that's made up with guys who ideally aren't necessarily the best zone corners, and they have to play zone more often than not. Like, I'm going to say this as nicely as I can, but Gus Bradley is the worst thing to happen to this defense in a very, very long time. He's probably the worst thing that's happened to this defense since Greg Toller. And
that's bad.
And I mean, quite frankly, it's hard for me to think that things are going to change because Chris Ballard don't like changing things. This will be.
Better learn to like it if he wants to start winning. Damn it.
But the thing is, this is going to be, and I don't want to be that guy that goes nuclear like that because I was trying to be the balance. I was trying to be the cool to your hot. But I'm going to be completely honest. This is going to be another talking point in a presser where, the NFL is a tough league to play in. Injuries happen. And, we know that we did a damn good job with the guys that we had and making sure that we were stepping up. And we're going to hear all the great things that we hear from Chris at the end of the year, except for Gus Bradley has been relieved of his duties. And at that point, I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to have to ask our quarterback, who we are continuously telling others to be patient with, that you are going to have to not only develop, but you're going to have to go out there and play balls to the wall in order to make sure that we're winning, because this defense is not going to deliver in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So
yeah. Let's get to some questions before we run out of time.
Okay.
Where Aaron asked, how much is it Gus versus players not executing for the defense performance? Aaron, we hit that early in the stage, and I gave it a 90-10, 90 to the coaches, 10 to the players. But, 6 missed tackles from EJ, getting burnt. Yeah, I'll take that down to 80-20. But it's to me, it's primarily still on Gus because of the calls that the schemes that he calls out. These players do 90-10. You want to stay with 90-10?
90-10, yes.
Okay, we'll stay there.
Yeah, because we're asking players to step in and almost fight against what they know. Because the thing also is, these players, I'm sure they know exactly what they need to do. But the thing is, how much of what they're actually able to do is them coaching and actually doing these things consistently. Because the thing is,
Facts.
because when you're in a system, you have to play your part. You have to play your spots. And now what you're running into is the fact that you have guys who probably are seeing exactly how these things are going, and it's what you know versus what you're supposed to do. Because if you make a play and it ends up being minimal, then you're probably going to catch heat because you went against what you were supposed to do. But then if you stay where you're supposed to be, and then it goes for a big play, then the only thing that they're going to say is that, okay, we need to regroup for next time. It's a losing formula.
Absolutely is. Anytime you take, and this is what it comes down to with this scheme shit, you take these players' instincts away from them.
Mm-hmm.
When you box them in with your my way only or the highway box in mentality,
Yep.
you take away those men's instincts, and a lot of time those instincts can serve you very, very well.
Yeah.
Chris, you've played sports. I've played sports. 99% of the chat has played sports. You all know when that ball's hiked, scheme goes out the window.
Yeah.
And instinct takes over. But you're not letting these players play with their instinct and their God-given abilities. You have boxed these guys in and created the worst defense I have ever seen from a group that should be a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
And that is 100% on Gus.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely sick of it.
Yeah. And you know what? And I'm also combing through the comments, and I see Teresa says so Ballard shouldn't have so they shouldn't have waved flowers. No, they absolutely should have waved flowers. If we're being honest, the appeal with Flowers was that he played decent enough. And there was nothing that to me, somebody who was somebody where you're just like, okay, maybe you shouldn't have cut him, was Isaiah Rodgers. I get the gambling thing, and 100% I understand that. But at no point was there anything with Dallas Flowers that made it so that we should have been putting our stake or putting our hopes on him playing in the secondary.
And what would it have hurt to keep him?
It wouldn't have hurt more than what we just saw him do in this past game.
It was a gambling violation. It wasn't like
Rodgers.
Yeah, it wasn't like he beat up his mother and drowned his dog or anything egregious like that. He did something stupid. He placed a bet on his phone at the facility.
Yeah. But that goes against it.
It was stupid. And he got suspended the rest of the year for it. He lost a shitload of damn money.
Mm-hmm.
Time served, if you ask me.
But the thing is, I think now we're speaking to Ballard because that's a character thing.
It is a character thing, but come on. A mistake doesn't change a character.
It doesn't. But the thing is, Ballard likes his Boy Scouts.
I get it. I do too. I said I'm not a drama guy. I don't want a bunch of drama in the locker room. I believe the best teams that hit the field are the teams that are family, that are tight-knitted.
Yeah.
Those kind of teams can compete with anybody, regardless of talent.
Yeah.
Because they play for each other. Right now, these guys aren't playing for each other. They're not playing for the coaches. They're playing for a contract.
Yeah.
And that never ends well.
No, it doesn't. And
ever.
And we see the result of it because where are we right now? We're in the middle of having to deal with the fact that the team doesn't look like they have fire. They don't look like they have life. Like
They don't.
This is a team that looks like,
and it's uncharacteristic of this team. We've all seen them. We've all seen them at training camp. We've all seen them in pre-games. Man, Zaire gets these guys fired up.
well,
And he's walking around like, fuck it.
and that's the reason why, looking now, it's a trickle down effect. And I mean, I think we see it when it comes down to Shane, because we've seen Shane fired up. We've seen him holding people accountable. There's no accountability from Gus. There's really
and his pressers, he's blaming the damn players.
well, like,
He ain't got no fucking accountability.
and that's the reason why. But
He's
the thing is, once
doing
again,
the way he does it.
but once again, it's just like I said. This is going to fall on. I'm going to say that this is going to fall on Ballard.
If he keeps Gus, 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is, but we're going to have to see something different. And we're just going to go ahead, just get to a couple more, and then we got to be up out of here before Sammy yells at Big P, because Big P was the one who went nuclear today. So, Adam J says CB got greedy finding Kenny, Zaire, Speed, and Maniac. Now he's looking for Fool's Gold. If Gus gets let go, who fills the spot for the remainder of the season? I want to say Ron Mealis, I believe, because I don't think it's going to be Charlie Partridge. I don't believe it'll be Charlie Partridge. No.
Cato could probably step in.
I would love to see what Cato can do.
Yeah, Cato could probably do the job pretty well.
Yeah, and he said,
now maybe he doesn't have the experience with the front seven, but that backfield, Cato could do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Sean Concrete says, I don't see Gus being back next year. He'll be let go. They just don't want to do it right now, but it could happen if this defense doesn't show up again. I mean, honestly,
I don't care if they don't want to do it. It needs done.
We're bottom five. We're bottom five in the majority of defensive categories: rushing yards, passing yards, points per game, like time of possession. At what point do we say that this isn't the case? And mind you, even in the 2 wins that we have, we barely control the clock. So let's just go ahead and just be real with that. And then this team reminds me of our mid to late 90s team. The talent was there, but we just couldn't play as one. And that's fair. So, I mean,
that's a fair statement. Yeah, but look who our coaching staff was back then.
Yep.
Playoffs? You talking about playoffs? Come on.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is, but that's what we see, and that's where we are right now. But, I mean, in the meantime, I mean, we're going to be up out of here. So, Big P, tell the people where they can find you again.
You can find me at Big P's Angry House, because I'm still friggin' livid over this shit. But on a serious note, I will come back, and I will cheer this team on, and I will spend positive energy to them. I think our players deserve it, because outside of everything, they're still out there going to war week in and week out.
Yep, absolutely.
Outside of everything, they're still in the gym trying to get their workout in. They're still doing extra practice. They're still doing this. They're still doing that. The sad thing is they're just stuck with a mediocre vanilla coach on the defensive side of the ball. So if you miss 6 tackles, EJ, I'm going to call you out on it. I'm still going to love you.
Yeah.
But because you're better than that. You're absolutely better than that.
Yep.
So I'm going to call you out on it. Make sure you get back to better.
Yep. Absolutely.
But if I was to come on here and spit off 6 different stats that were 100% wrong, this chat would eat me alive.
Absolutely. But you know who's going to eat you alive? Sammy, because we're about time up. So, like I said, guys, make sure. And then also, Teresa, I will not be on with Horseshoe Mob, but make sure that you tune in tonight, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said,
they got a lot to say.
They got a lot to say, too. So make sure that you tune in with Josh and Austin. So, yeah. But other than that, guys, we will see you on Thursday. We'll be a little bit better. I promise you. And so, yeah. So other than that, guys, have a great night. And Sammy, go ahead and take us out.
Still my team too, Teresa.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.